Welcome back to Interior Design 101, my 10-part series where I break down 10 fundamental design principles so that by the end of the series, you're ready to design your own home, even if you've never done it before. Now, today we are diving into scale and proportion. So I am going to explain how designers choose different heights, objects, sizes, weights, so that everything comes together and feels cohesive in the end. And if you stick with me till the end, I will give you the secret designer formulas to kind of make any setup feel effortlessly polished. Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Louie. I'm an architect and designer, and I've worked with design for 20 years, spanning multiple different industries. And if one thing I can say that many industries have in common is that no matter what you're designing, you will hear these two words: scale and proportion, because they are like the magic key to unlock a beautiful aesthetic and a functional home. So today, let's get into it. Grab a notebook, maybe a nice little tea. That's what I like to drink, but you do you. And let's start. Chapter number 1 is what is scale and proportion. And like I said, you've probably heard these words a lot. They are nice little buzzwords in the design realm, but what do they actually mean in the context of interiors? Scale is simply how big or small something feels in relation to the room or to the people using it. An armchair isn't just an armchair. In a spacious loft, it might seem fitting, while in a small apartment, it might feel huge. Proportion, on the other hand, is all about relationships, so how the sizes and shapes of different elements work together and relate to each other. So, is the lamp the right height for the table? Does the artwork feel connected to the sofa below it? Do the pieces in the room feel like they're part of one same family? When they're both right, a space feels comfortable, balanced, and natural. When they're both off, like a tiny rug under a massive sectional or a huge chandelier in a low ceiling room, everything starts to feel off, even if you can't say why. Maybe you want to think of scale and proportion like the visual rhythm of the space. It will quietly tell your body and your mind that everything fits. So now that you know what scale and proportion mean, let's jump into chapter number 2, human scale, the design that fits your body. Now we're going to talk about where design and real life comfort actually meet and come together, and that is human scale. Now consider this: if you were designing for a dog, for a pet, your house is going to be smaller, they're going to be lower to the ground, the food is going to be at ground height. You're just going to consider how that animal moves and works so that you can create a space that works for them and for their body and their proportions. Well, for this animal, it's the exact same thing. We need to consider our bodies when designing, and this chapter will teach you exactly how to do that. So human scale is all about designing a space that fits you. That means things like, how far do I have to reach my coffee table? Is my nightstand at the appropriate height? Is my TV at the right height so I'm not tilting my head? Can I reach my upper cabinets or upper shelves? It just means how well your body interacts with the space around it. So if it feels uncomfortable to use, then that's probably because it's poorly designed. And it all comes down to ergonomics. Now, I've been through this in my frequently asked questions video where I talk about different measurements and how to get things appropriate for your human scale. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to go through some of those key measurements that designers just have on the tip of their tongue so that you can apply them to your home and make sure that you're actually designing something that's comfortable and functional. Let's start with seat height. That means 17 to 19 inches or 43 to 48 centimeters. So low enough to lounge comfortably, but high enough that you don't have to launch yourself out of the sofa. If it's too low, it will strain your knees. If it's too high, your feet will dangle, it's not cozy, and you'll feel like a child. Next is the dining table height. It is approximately 30 inches or 75 centimeters, and it should be paired with 18-inch high chairs, which is equal to 45 centimeters. This pairing creates the perfect triangle. Your feet flat on the floor, your elbows comfortably above the table, and your shoulders relaxed. For kitchen counters, you want to go with 36 inches high or 91 centimeters because that's right where your elbows naturally fall when you're prepping food. It just feels comfortable. And for your upper cabinets, they should sit about 18 inches or 46 centimeters above the countertop because that's the sweet spot. It's easy to reach, but still high enough to fit appliances and keep the workspace feeling open. If you want a bar height counter, raise it to 42 inches or approximately 107 centimeters. It will be perfect for leaning, chatting, or grabbing a quick bite without hunching. And for seating, pair it with 28 to 30 inch or 71 to 76 centimeter bar stools so that everything lines up comfortably. For coffee tables, you want to keep their distance from the couch at around 14 to 18 inches, which is equal to 36 to 46 centimeters, so that it's close enough for snacks, remotes, and laptops, but far enough that your legs aren't bumping into it every time you stand. And this one's super important. You want to keep those pathways clear, so you need at least 36 inches or 90 centimeters. This is the difference between moving effortlessly through your home and squeezing sideways while holding a laundry basket. So like I said, I like to keep things easy, so let's go through some real life scenarios because I think this is when it really clicks. Imagine a dining setup that never feels right. The table looks beautiful, but the chairs are slightly too low. Every meal, you can't reach your food properly, your arms feel awkward, and your shoulders feel tense. It's a perfect example of mismatched proportions between chair height and table height. So here's something interesting, right? Good design will feel intuitive. You shouldn't really have to think about it. If things are well designed, like your kitchen, if your kitchen is ergonomically designed, then it's just there. It's just supporting your habits. You don't feel the problems. But when it's poorly designed, when it is not in scale with your body, you will immediately realize it. The first time you have to squeeze so that someone can go past you in a pathway, or the first time you open your fridge and you can't open your fridge or your stove at the same time because they'll bang into each other, or you won't be able to reach your upper cabinets. Guys, it's going to become such a headache. All of a sudden, you're going to be like, I hate this kitchen. I want to knock it down and I want to start over because there is nothing worse than something that does not fit your body or your scale. And this is why it's so important. So I really wanted to drive that home because it's the kind of thing that when it's done properly, it'll be invisible. But when it's not, oh my God, it will be right in your face. Chapter number 3 is proportion and harmony, and this is when we get to think about how to use proportion to create that harmonious feel in your space. Now we can go back to one of the most timeless principles of design, which is the golden ratio. Now this is a ratio that is 1 to 1.618. And the reason it always works and it always comes up is because we see it everywhere and our brain recognizes it. It's drawn to it. It's comfortable, it's natural, and it's effortless. You'll see it in nature, the spirals of seashells, the way leaves branch out from a stem, even the proportions of the human face. And you can also spot it in architecture, in the facade of the Parthenon, in Renaissance paintings, and in many modern buildings that just feel right without you knowing why. Okay, so I know that you're looking at it and you're like, okay, Louis, so how am I going to take this spiral thing and apply it into my interiors? Because I've been there, I've thought the exact same thing. But the thing is, it's just basically it's just a ratio. It's proportion. It's how to apply this exact proportion or as close to it as possible in different spaces so that you instinctively feel like the space is harmonious and pleasant. So I'm going to apply it to interiors and I'm going to try and illustrate this so that you guys see exactly how this works and why it is so important. You can use the golden ratio with furniture pairings. A sofa often looks best when the table in front of it is about 2/3 of its width. It is a soft, practical version of the golden ratio. When it comes to wall decor, a piece of art feels naturally balanced when it fills up around 60% of the visual space above the console or headboard or whatever furniture you're hanging it over. If it's too small, it will float awkwardly. If it's too big, it will overwhelm the furniture. You can find the golden ratio even in room dimensions. So the shape of a room matters. Spaces that are 10 by 16 feet or 3 to 5 meters feel calm because one side is close to 1.6 times the other. So the idea here is not to take out your calculator and, your rulers and start measuring everything. What you want to do is just kind of have a rule of thumb for proportion. So it's an easy go-to. It's the proportion that you will relate back to when you need to, get proportion right, because that's what nature does, guys. And, nature is the best. So let's just copy what it does. Do you guys remember this video called, I think it was Donald in Math Magic Land, or it's something like that. I remember there being math and there being magic. But basically, when I was a kid, I remember teachers would show this in class to teach us about math and proportion and the golden ratio because it has a whole bit on that. Now, I think it's like, I don't know if it's a Disney short. I'll link it in a comment below so that you guys can watch it because it's really useful for visual learners. I remember this very clearly. In fact, I remember the exact drawings they used to explain some of these because it just drove the point home. So I'm gonna link it, have a look at it. Let me know if you guys remember this. I think it's really cute. Anyways, let me know in the comments. I say it every time in this channel, we like to keep it easy peasy, so let's go through some practical design formulas that are tried and true and every designer needs in their back pocket. The first is rug sizing. So in a living room, your rug should be large enough that at least the front legs of your furniture sit on it. Around the perimeter, you want to leave about 8 to 12 inches or 20 to 30 centimeters of visible floor between the rug and the wall so the room can breathe instead of feeling cramped. Do not push that rug against the wall. Always leave breathing room. And here's a rule for art placement. You always want to hang artwork so the center sits about 57 inches or 145 centimeters from the floor. That is roughly average human eye level. And if you're hanging art above furniture, then you want to keep a 6 to 8 inch or 15 to 20 centimeter gap between the top of the furniture and the bottom edge of the art so that you can create one cohesive visual unit. And here are some little lighting formulas. When it comes to lighting height, over a dining table, your pendant light should hang 30 to 36 inches, approximately 75 to 90 centimeters above the tabletop. As for size, the fixture will be balanced when its width is about half to 2/3 of the width of the dining table. Now, guys, remember, these aren't hardcore laws that you can never break. It's just kind of a rule of thumb to kind of guide you along the way. And also, don't forget to have a look at the description of this video because for every episode of this series, I am making available a free PDF that kind of goes over the topics that were discussed in that episode. So for this one, we have one on scale and proportion, and you can print it out, you can use it. It's very, very helpful, and it will just be a kind of cheat sheet of this episode's topic. Chapter 5, How Proportion Creates Comfort and Luxury. So here's the thing. If you want to create luxury, if you want to bring sophistication into the space, scale and proportion is probably the most important thing other than lighting, because lighting's a game changer. Lighting is a beautiful thing all on its own. But scale and proportion will make the biggest difference. And it's because it's not about how much you spend. You can have everything expensive, everything designer, but if you don't know how to match things, if you don't know how to relate the architecture to the furniture to the objects to each other, it just doesn't make sense. So when we talk about luxury, one of the things we talk about most is negative space and how to get that across. Now, beyond negative space, there are other things we can do with scale and proportion to create that extra sophisticated designer feel. And I have a few tips that we can go through so that we know how to do that. So let's start with the one I've already mentioned, which is negative space, or also known as breathing room. Empty space is not wasted space. It's what makes the rest of the room feel planned. But what if your home is small? Well, you don't need huge pathways. You only need one strong moment. For example, floating a single statement armchair or introducing one oversized art piece creates impact without needing a lot of square footage. You can also scale up one anchor piece. So luxury rooms almost always have one element that's slightly larger than expected, a big rug, a large coffee table, or oversized lighting. This creates confidence and structure and a big impact wow moment. So here's a tip. If the room feels cluttered or busy, try enlarging the rug or coffee table first, because bigger foundational pieces actually make a room feel calmer and larger than if you have lots of medium or small pieces. You also want to match furniture height to architecture. If your ceilings are tall but your furniture is low, everything feels like it's sinking. And trust me, guys, tall ceilings are wonderful, but they can be tricky to decorate for. And if your ceilings are lower, too tall pieces feel top heavy and cramp up the space. So here's my tip. In high ceiling rooms, you want to bring in tall bookshelves, drapery, or vertical art. And in lower ceiling rooms, you want to choose sofas and chairs with lower backs to stretch the room horizontally. When we're talking about luxury and how to create a more sophisticated space, the only real difference between a space that feels sophisticated and luxurious and one that doesn't is that the luxurious one feels planned. It feels considered, intentional, and purposeful, almost like a designer did it. Who would have known, right? As opposed to some space that just kind of gets put together and evolves over time in a more organic way, in the sense that you're just kind of putting things there and you're not really planning while you're doing that. So here is where scale and proportion come into play. If you can plan appropriately and you can create that negative space and you can create those focal moments, you will create exactly what a designer does for a luxury project. So it's just about learning these tools, guys, and applying them into your own space. It's not about spending a ton. Take what you have and be more purposeful with it. Plan ahead and put things intentionally. And that way you'll become so much more professional and just so much closer to thinking like a designer and eventually creating that luxurious, beautiful space if that is your end goal. Okay, it's time for our recap. So let's go over everything we've gone through this episode and exactly what we've learned. So we learned what scale and proportion actually are. Scale is the size of an object, and proportion is how those objects relate to each other visually. We also learned the basics of human scale, the ergonomic measurements designers rely on to make furniture feel good and support your daily life. We went through the golden ratio and how that creates visual harmony, and how to use it as a flexible guide for layout, art placement, and furniture arrangements. We also looked at real formulas that you can apply immediately for rugs, art height, and lighting size. And we learned how proportion creates comfort and luxury, not through cost, but through space, balance, and intentional placement. So at the start of the video, I promised you that we would go through scale and proportion and learn exactly how designers use that in their space and in their projects to create something impactful, comfortable, luxurious, all of that jazz. And hopefully by now you feel like you're ready because you finally are starting to get a handle on what scale and proportion means. And guys, if you made it till the end of this episode, let me just congratulate you, because you're doing more than just watching YouTube videos. You're actually learning and you're training your designer's eye. And you'll see that the more you do this, well, the more you know and the better you will become as a designer and the more capable you'll be of designing your space all on your own. I believe in you. Congrats on making it till the end of episode 3. And I will see you next week with episode 4 when we talk about rhythm and harmony and how to apply that into your space. But for now, if this video helped, if it was helpful to you, please leave a like, a comment, a subscribe. I'd love that. It's super helpful. And of course, I have great resources if you need more help throughout your design journey. The first one is my home checklist. It's over 30 pages long and it goes room by room with lots of helpful guides, schematics, and it'll just tell you what you need in each room in order to design it in a way that functions properly. And I have my color palette inspiration pack, which is over 45 pages long, full of color palettes with hex codes. You can compare, contrast, and it also gives tips on how to choose and proportion your color throughout your space. So they're really helpful. I hope you guys like them. I hope you're liking them because we put a lot of effort into them. We really want them to be good. And they're available below in the link, free. And that's all for me today, guys. I will see you next week. Thank you for spending this time with me.